What if I told you that aging is not truly real? That every wrinkle, every strand of gray hair, every moment of lost energy isn't part of nature's law, but part of a program built into you. You were taught to believe that your time is running out. But what if it's all conditioning? A script written into your biology to make you feel limited? Today, I want to give you the 4 forgotten keys said to come from Thoth, the ancient Egyptian god of wisdom. Keys that can help you uninstall this program and return your body to its natural, regenerative state. Most people are not ready to hear this, but if you are still here, it means something in you already knows it's true. You've always felt that you were meant to live longer, feel lighter, and carry a light that doesn't fade with time. If you believe that, say it aloud. Time obeys me. The body is the glove of the soul. This truth is older than science. Ancient masters in China, India, Egypt, and Greece knew how to slow time and extend life. They understood that life force, the invisible energy that moves through every living thing, is the real secret behind health, youth, and vitality. They called it Kai, Prana, or Ka. Thoth called it the divine spark within matter. In forgotten villages of China, there are stories of Li Qingyuan, said to have lived for over 200 years. He wasn't a genetic miracle. He simply lived in rhythm with nature. He breathed with awareness. He slept aligned with the cycles of light and dark. And he nourished himself with peace instead of fear. What sounded like poetry to the modern world was actually profound biological science. Today, neuroscience confirms that meditative states can activate repair genes, strengthen DNA, and restore the body's ability to heal itself. In 18th century Europe, hidden experiments began to rediscover what the ancients already knew. When Luigi Galvani made a dead frog's legs twitch with an electric impulse, most laughed, but a few saw it for what it was, a glimpse into the electrical nature of life. They believed that if electricity could animate the dead, it could also renew the living. These experiments were eventually buried and banned, for they revealed too much. They proved that life isn't only chemical, it's energetic, and energy can be restored. Your body is not just flesh and blood. It's a living field of energy responding to your emotions, your thoughts, and the invisible frequencies around you. Aging, disease, and fatigue are not the root causes of decay. They're the symptoms of distortion in this energy field. The ancients knew that the key to staying young was keeping this internal current pure, but that knowledge was hidden because a person who controls their own energy cannot be controlled by others. The greatest toxin destroying your vitality isn't found in your food or the air. It's created by your own emotions. Fear, stress, and resentment are invisible poisons that flood your body every day. Modern science now calls this psychoneuroimmunology, the study of how emotional stress shortens telomeres, weakens cells, and accelerates aging just as fast as physical toxins. When you live in constant fear, your cells hear one command: survive. They stop growing, repairing, and rejuvenating. But when you live in peace, gratitude, and love, your cells receive a different message. Thrive. They begin to renew. Your first key to youth is to cleanse this emotional poison. And the most direct way to do this is through your breath. Breath is the bridge between the body and the soul. It is the language your body understands instantly. When you breathe slowly and deeply, you tell every cell, it's safe now, you can heal. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 6. As you breathe out, feel tension leaving your body. Repeat this for a few minutes each day. especially when you feel pressure or fear. This simple act activates your vagus nerve, the switch that turns on your body's natural repair mode. Your heartbeat slows, inflammation drops, the body begins to regenerate. Once you purify your internal vibration, you regain control of your biology. You stop reacting to life and start conducting it. But controlling your inner current is only half the work. You also need to feed on a more powerful external energy source: light. Your body was designed to feed on light as much as food. Your skin is a solar panel, absorbing photons to produce vitamin D, which regulates over 1,000 processes in your body. Your eyes are sensors that send messages to your brain, telling it when to wake, when to rest, and when to repair. Morning sunlight carries red and infrared frequencies that penetrate your skin, charge your mitochondria, and spark energy inside your cells. Just 10 minutes of morning light without sunglasses or sunscreen can lift your mood, repair your DNA, and awaken your natural rhythm. But light alone isn't enough. You also need darkness. Your body's deepest healing happens in pure darkness when your pineal gland releases melatonin, the hormone of regeneration. When you sleep surrounded by artificial light, screens, and glowing LEDs, you block this natural repair process. The ancients honored darkness as sacred. They slept when the sun set and woke when it rose, living in harmony with the earth's rhythm. In the balance between light and dark, the body restores its natural youth. Now, what about time? You've been taught that time is your enemy, but that's an illusion. Clocks and calendars are inventions. Your cells do not count hours. They measure experience. They record emotion, intensity, and presence. That's why a year of routine can vanish from memory, but a single week of joy can feel eternal. Your perception of time determines how your body ages. When your perception speeds up, your biology follows. When you slow down and live deeply in the moment, your biology also slows and begins to heal. Monks in deep meditation say that time stops, and modern science agrees. In states of stillness and flow, metabolism slows, oxygen use decreases, and the body enters a mode of restoration. You felt this before. When you lose yourself in a creative act, in laughter, in love, in those moments, stress disappears, and the body's repair system activates automatically. This is the third key: to live in flow, where the present moment expands and time bends to your awareness. You can train this. Try inhaling for 7 seconds, holding for 7, exhaling for 7, and resting for 7. As you do this, focus only on your breath. A minute can feel like 10. That simple shift slows your inner clock, and your body begins to interpret that stillness as youth. The final key is electricity, the hidden current that keeps you alive. Every cell in your body is a small battery. Your brain and heart generate electromagnetic fields that can be measured meters away. Life is electricity. Death is the blackout. When voltage drops, the body weakens. When voltage rises, vitality returns. But you're surrounded by synthetic signals, Wi-Fi, cables, screens that create noise in your system. You've been disconnected from the cleanest energy source there is. The earth itself, the ground beneath your feet, is alive with negative electrons that can recharge your internal battery. When you walk barefoot on soil, grass, or sand, these electrons enter your body and neutralize inflammation and stress. This is called grounding. It's not a spiritual metaphor. It's biology. Studies show that grounding reduces pain, improves sleep, balances blood pressure, and restores calm. You spend your days charging your phone, but forget to charge your own body. You're like a powerful device constantly on low power mode, but the earth is your natural charger. Step outside, take off your shoes, breathe deeply, and connect. Within minutes, your voltage rises. Now you hold all four keys: breath to clear emotional poison, light to feed your cells, presence to command time, and grounding to recharge your energy. When you practice them together, something remarkable happens. You begin to remember your original design, your true nature as a being of light and electricity, not decay and limitation. Thoth's ancient initiation, the method of a mentee, was never about chasing immortality through potions or elixirs. It was about remembering the truth that immortality already lives within you. The halls of a mentee are not a physical place. They are a dimension of consciousness you enter when you let go of fear and return to harmony. To enter them is to die to the version of yourself that believed in aging, limitation, and loss, and to be reborn as the true self that commands energy, light, time, and matter with awareness. When you breathe with peace, you tell your cells to stay alive. When you greet the sun, you charge your soul. When you honor darkness, you restore your mind. When you live in flow, you slow time. When you walk on earth, you recharge your heart. This is the forgotten method, the union of energy, light, rhythm, and grounding. You are not bound by the calendar. You are not limited by the number of years printed on paper. You are energy in motion, electricity in form, divine awareness expressing through matter. Aging is the illusion. Awareness is the cure. So breathe deeply, step into the sunlight, touch the earth, slow down, and feel time bow before you. You were never meant to wither. You were meant to remember. Say it once more, not as hope, but as truth. Time obeys me. The body is the glove of the soul. I am eternal. You don't just breathe to relax. You breathe to transform yourself from the inside out. Every breath carries intelligence far beyond oxygen. It is the bridge between the human and the divine. When you breathe with awareness, you are not merely filling your lungs. You are taking in light, life, and information that reorganizes your inner world. The breath purifies heavy emotions, turns confusion into clarity, and converts pain into vitality. With every conscious inhale, you pull in energy from the universe. And with every exhale, you release what no longer serves your spirit. You begin to realize that the act of breathing itself is sacred. It is the most ancient form of communication between your soul and creation. You don't just sit in the sun for warmth or vitamin D. The sun is far more than a burning star in the sky. It is a living presence that carries the memory of creation. When you open yourself to sunlight with intention, you are not just receiving energy. You are absorbing codes of consciousness, nourishment that feeds both body and soul. You start to feel that the same light that fuels the stars also burns quietly within you. The sun becomes a mirror, reminding you that your inner fire is eternal, that illumination has always been your nature. You don't just manage your time to be more productive. You begin to understand that time itself is a construct of perception. When you enter deep states of focus and creativity, what mystics call flow, you move beyond the tyranny of the clock. Time bends before presence. In that timeless space, life becomes effortless, and you act not from pressure, but from alignment. You no longer measure your days in hours, but in moments of aliveness. You start to experience the eternal nature of the now, the place where the soul actually lives. You don't just walk barefoot for comfort or health. You walk to remember that you belong to this earth. When your feet touch the soil, a circuit completes. The energy of the planet rises through your body, and your scattered thoughts fall silent. You feel the pulse of life under you, ancient and familiar, and you remember that you were never separate from the living world. Grounding anchors your spirit back into your physical form, reminding you that your body is not a cage, but a vessel, a temple through which heaven experiences earth. This is the essence of the hidden teaching. Immortality is not about refusing to die or desperately preserving the body. It is not about freezing your image in time or clinging to youth. Those who chase eternal youth from fear or vanity end up imprisoned by their reflection. True eternal youth is not the denial of aging, but the natural expression of an awakened soul. When your consciousness expands, when you live vibrantly, joyfully, and in love with life, your body becomes a mirror of that inner radiance. Regeneration happens naturally, not because you struggle for it, but because your inner vitality demands to be seen in form. The body renews itself as a consequence of spirit made visible. The goal was never to live forever in flesh. The true goal is to awaken to the truth that you are not the flesh. You are the life force that animates it. You are eternal awareness, momentarily experiencing itself through matter. When this realization becomes more than philosophy, when it becomes your living truth, fear of death dissolves like smoke. And when the fear of death dissolves, the aging process, which feeds on that fear, begins to lose its power. You stop clinging to youth, and in doing so, you rediscover it. You stop resisting change, and life rewards you with timeless presence. Eternal youth is not the absence of decay. It is the overflowing presence of life, so complete and so radiant that decay cannot enter where love is fully alive. Yet this is where many lose their way. They chase the power of youth from the ego. They want to appear special, superior, invincible. But the universe does not reveal its deepest secrets to hands stained with vanity. True immortality demands surrender, the death of ego, the willingness to stop grasping and to start receiving. You stop trying to own life, and instead, you let life move through you freely. Every breath becomes an act of humility and devotion. Each moment presents a choice. Will you identify with form or with the force that gives form life? Will you cling to appearances or will you embody essence? This quiet decision, made again and again, defines your evolution. True immortality is not something you reach as a reward. It is the natural result of living so consciously and completely that time itself begins to lose authority over you. It is not the destination at the end of the path. It is what happens when you walk the path with presence. You discover that the sacred is not hidden in distant temples or secret ceremonies under pyramids. It reveals itself in your ordinary life, in the simplest actions that carry divine intention. The great initiation happens not in mystery schools, but in your kitchen when you choose food that carries life instead of food that dulls it. It happens in your bedroom when you turn away from the glowing screen and rest in regenerative darkness. It happens on your morning walk when you choose to breathe consciously instead of letting your mind drown in anxious noise. Every moment can become a portal. Every simple act can become a ritual. Real alchemy has always been about this, turning the ordinary into the extraordinary, turning lead into gold, turning habit into awareness. You begin to see that your daily life itself is your laboratory. The world does not require escape. It requires engagement. You don't run from the mundane. You bless it, elevate it, and make it sacred. The Hermetic truth, as within, so without, stops being theory, and becomes the visible pattern of your existence. The harmony or chaos within your inner world inevitably appears in your body, your relationships, and your surroundings. Every thought becomes architecture. Every emotion becomes climate. When you begin to cultivate peace inside yourself, when your thoughts become kind, your heart grateful, your breath steady, you will watch the outer world rearrange itself around you. Your health begins to glow. Your skin reflects inner light. Your energy becomes magnetic. People feel your calm before you speak. They sense that your presence carries something alive and healing. It's not your appearance that changes. It's your frequency. You no longer try to force life to obey you. You move with its rhythm. You stop resisting what comes and begin dancing with what is. Life itself becomes your partner. You start to see the morning sun not just as light, but as a reminder that you are light. The same brilliance that shines above also burns within your chest. You feel the rain on your skin and recognize it as the same water flowing through your veins. The illusion of separation between you and nature begins to fade. You start to live in unity with everything: breath, earth, light, and darkness all working together inside you. You realize that the divine never left the world. It lives in every cell of it, waiting to be remembered. This stage of transformation is about embodiment. It is no longer enough to think or talk about awakening. You must become it. Knowledge turns into action. Practice turns into presence. It's not about doing breathing techniques. It's about living as the one who breathes with awareness. It's not about performing rituals. It's about living so consciously that every act becomes a ritual. Breathing becomes prayer, the whisper of the universe within you. Food becomes sacred, a communion between spirit and matter. Sleep becomes a sacred ceremony where body, mind, and soul return to unity. Even the smallest choices begin to shape your destiny. You speak slower. You listen deeper. You move with grace. Life begins to mirror that grace back to you. This is the essence of true alchemy, the art of becoming one with life so fully that nothing feels separate from your divinity. You live in a state of quiet power, not because you conquered the world, but because you learned to surrender to it. Immortality reveals itself not as an endless timeline, but as a single eternal moment repeating through infinite forms. You awaken to the realization that time is not running away from you. It is unfolding within you. You are not moving through life. Life is moving through you. And in that awareness, the fear of death disappears completely. You stop running from endings because you see that endings are just beginnings in disguise. Every exhale is proof that death is not destruction. It is renewal. You stop chasing youth because you have discovered something deeper than youth: presence, the eternal quality of being alive right now. This is what it means to live as an awakened being, to turn every moment into gold, to make every breath a blessing, to see every day as the sacred temple where God and creation meet. In this state, you are forever regenerating, forever remembering, forever alive. You become the breath, the light, the ground, and the consciousness that holds it all. You stop seeking eternity and begin embodying it. And that, at last, is what it truly means to be immortal. Movement becomes a sacred celebration of life itself. You no longer treat your body as something broken or imperfect that must be repaired. Instead, you begin to honor it as the living temple of your consciousness, the divine vessel through which spirit experiences matter. Each breath becomes a prayer, each motion an offering. You begin to understand that the purpose of movement is not to change the body, but to awaken it, to let life dance through you. The body becomes not a cage, but a bridge between heaven and earth, between soul and form. But such profound power, the ability to influence your biology and reality from within, always comes with a sacred balance. The same energy that heals can destroy. The same light that liberates can also blind. The universe is precise in its symmetry. For every force of creation, there exists an equal force of destruction. When you touch this level of inner power, you inevitably meet your greatest challenge, the shadow that lives within the same light. The danger is not loud or obvious. It is subtle, invisible, and seductive. Many who have walked this path before have stumbled at this very point, not because they were weak, but because they were unprepared for the depth of power that mirrors back everything inside them, both pure and impure. This kind of power demands maturity, spiritual, emotional, and moral. It reveals not only what is beautiful within you, but also what is broken, fearful, or hungry for control. This is why ancient teachers called such wisdom forbidden, not because it was false or unsafe, but because it worked too well. It opened doors that humanity, in its immaturity, could not yet walk through without falling. The danger was never the knowledge itself. The danger was the ego that would try to use it for dominance, immortality, or control. The greatest test of enlightenment is not in acquiring power, but in staying humble once it arrives. Throughout history, sacred knowledge has been hidden, suppressed, and labeled heresy. Why would truths capable of freeing humanity from sickness, decay, and despair be buried? Because such truths are dangerous, not to the body, but to the ego. The ego fears loss of control, and true knowledge erases control altogether. To manipulate your own life force, to alter your perception of time and vitality, is to hold the universe within your hands. When those hands belong to a heart that is pure, that power becomes creation, healing, and service. When those hands belong to a heart driven by greed, fear, or vanity, that same power turns into destruction. History and myth have tried to warn us. Kings who sought eternal youth became monsters of pride. Alchemists who chased immortality were consumed by their own terror of death. The desire to outwit time becomes the very chain that enslaves the soul. When the pursuit of youth or power is driven by vanity, it corrupts the essence of life itself. It tries to preserve the mask, the outer shell, while the spirit inside withers away, starved of meaning and truth. The forbidden knowledge was never rejected because it failed. It was rejected because humanity was not ready to use it without losing itself in the process. The true purpose of longevity is not to accumulate more years, wealth, or pleasure. It is to expand the soul's capacity to love, to understand, to serve. The point of living longer is not to consume more, but to give more, to deepen one's connection to the divine, and to elevate collective consciousness. There is a difference between trying to be a monument and choosing to be a river. The monument stands rigid, proud, cold, and isolated, clinging to its form while life passes it by. The river flows freely, nourishing everything it touches, never afraid to change shape, never afraid to move on. The monument seeks permanence. The river seeks participation in the eternal flow. One resists time, the other dances with it. As you walk this sacred path, you will constantly meet this choice in every moment. Will you use your awakening to feel superior, or to connect more deeply with all of life? This is the price of true knowledge, absolute responsibility. Once you awaken, there is no one left to blame. You can no longer hide behind excuses or ignorance. You become fully responsible for your energy, your emotions, your choices, your frequency. You realize that every thought is a seed, every word a spell, every action a ripple that reshapes reality. This is the weight and the wonder of divine power. To know that you are creating in every moment. You now stand at the same crossroad that all initiates reach, the point where you must choose between mastery and obsession, between serving the light or being consumed by it. This decision is not far away in some future moment. It is always here, in the now. Each time you breathe, you choose who you are becoming. Each thought becomes a thread in the tapestry of your destiny. The universe listens not to your words, but to your vibration, and it mirrors back exactly what you embody. With great power comes sacred duty. You begin to see that your vitality and the vitality of the earth are one and the same. To harm another is to wound yourself. To pollute the planet is to poison your own temple. The illusion of separation dissolves when you understand that all of creation breathes with one breath. What you do to the smallest life, you do to the whole. This realization marks the final threshold, where knowledge becomes being, and being becomes service. Imagine a woman of 70 years. Her back has bent beneath the weight of decades. Her eyes are tired, her spirit dulled by the belief that her best days are gone. One day, almost by accident, she discovers 4 sacred keys hidden within these teachings. Though she doubts, something inside her, something ancient and quiet, whispers to try. She begins to breathe with awareness when anxiety strikes. She greets each sunrise as a blessing. She transforms her room into a sanctuary of darkness and stillness, where rest becomes sacred. She walks barefoot in her garden, feeling the earth remember her name. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, life begins to return to her body. A year later, a friend who once knew her barely recognizes her. She walks upright, her steps firm and light. Her face glows, not with artificial youth, but with the radiance of inner peace. Her eyes, once clouded by time, now shine with the light of purpose. When people ask her secret, expecting some product or procedure, she only smiles and whispers, "I stopped obeying time. Now time obeys me." This journey, from discovering the secret phrase to living the 4 pillars, was never about tricks or shortcuts. It was about unlearning everything false that the world has taught you about limitation. It was about peeling back the layers of fear, control, and conditioning to reveal your original self, the living consciousness of the universe. Thoth's ultimate teaching, the secret of immortality, is not that you will never die, but that you were never truly born. You are life itself, experiencing itself through this miraculous form. Your body is not your prison. It is your sacred instrument. The 4 pillars are not rules. They are rhythms, the dance steps of conscious living. The theory ends here. The real journey begins in practice. Every transformation starts with a declaration, a choice, an act of power. Let this be your moment of initiation. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Feel your energy alive and aware within you. And now, with all the conviction in your being, speak this truth into existence. From this day forward, time rejuvenates me. Let this not be a poetic phrase, but a living command. Let it echo in your cells until your body remembers. If you have arrived here, it is because you were called. You are not part of the many who only watch from the surface. You are one of the few who were meant to walk the path. The time of waiting is over. You are ready to become the master of your own time. the guardian of your own temple, the keeper of your sacred energy. Whisper once more, with reverence and certainty, I am the master of my time, and know that this is not an ending but a beginning. The current of life now flows through you with new rhythm, new light, new command. You are the living bridge between heaven and earth, between eternity and form. Your every breath, your every step, your every thought ripples into creation. As you rise in awareness, the world rises with you. Each heartbeat becomes a promise to live fully, to love deeply, to serve humbly, and to remember, always, that the divine does not live beyond you. It lives through you.